Welcome back to Bloom. In the aftermath of Hurricane Ian, homeowners insurance started to surge, and it's still skyrocketing, with experts say it's only going to get worse. Joining us now to tell us more is attorney Dave Pettinato. Dave, it's great to see you again.
Thanks, Gail. Thanks for the invitation.
So Hurricane Ian, people are like, wow, that is way behind us. But what they don't realize is the impact of that storm, combined with other factors, has led to insurance prices going through the roof.
Well, there was a perceived insurance crisis back in December, so a lot of laws got changed since December. So if there's a hurricane claims coming up now in 2023, there'll be additional laws than they were in the past. And the legislature for the state of Florida gave the changes to the laws, hoping that the premiums would come down and to bring other reinsurance carriers in to help out the carriers.
But that didn't happen?
Well, it's not happening like they're perceived as. I haven't talked to one of my clients when he got his bill in for this new insurance season for the next term is less. They've usually tripled. And I talked to a person today, one of my clients, his went from $8,000 a year for a commercial structure to like over 30-some thousand. That's a big jump.
Yeah, it's a big, big jump, and people are seeing it, they're feeling it. So now let's talk about laws that are currently in place that people might not realize. Because from my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when Hurricane Ian hit, if there was an insurance claim, you could call your attorney and the attorney would start working with the insurance company. If the insurance company didn't pay out, well, the attorney didn't get paid either. But if the insurance company did pay out, the attorney gets its fee, and the homeowner or whoever the policyholder is gets their money. But that's not the way it works anymore.
Great question. As of January 1st, 2023, the law changed where any Hurricane Ian victims or policies that were in effect before January 1st, 2023 would enjoy the statute of this attorney fee shifting statute. And after that, if there's new claims coming in this year, they're not going to be having to enjoy that same attorney's fee statute, which is just basically this. If I represent a policyholder for Hurricane Ian and we have to file suit and I win and get my client paid, the insurance company has to pay my attorney's fees and costs. That's now gone starting from 2023 forward.
Okay, so now the policyholder, if something happens to your house, you try to call your insurance company, they do nothing. They start delaying month after month after month, because in some cases it's been up to 8 months and people are still waiting for their Hurricane Ian policies to pay out, and they're still grandfather claused in. But you're saying from this point on, if there's damage to my home and my insurance company doesn't pay out, I have to out of pocket pay for an attorney.
Right, and that most likely the attorneys, such as what I do, I'm a policyholder advocate, I'll take it on a contingency, and if I don't collect, then I won't pay, or they don't have to pay me anything. But from this point forward, it's going to be harder, because if you have smaller claims like a roof claim, I represent an elderly policyholders, they're in their 80s, they have a roof claim, they can't afford a new roof, and the roof might be about $32,000. So by the time I litigate the case, get the $32,000 paid, and reimburse myself for basic costs and some fee, they won't be able to replace the roof for that. So that's a big issue for 2023.
Is there anything that we can do as policyholders to better our chances of the insurance company paying out? Because if you've ever dealt with an insurance company, maybe some policyholders have had great experiences, but a lot of times with being so overwhelmed, there are a lot of policyholders that aren't seeing any action.
Well, I do. I have some suggestions. One is a policyholder could always hire what we call a policyholder advocate, such as a public adjuster, and let them work the system with the insurance company. The other thing the policyholder can do is, especially when they're trying to contact the carrier, document everything. If you make a phone call, make a log, send an email, make a little diary of who you called, and because the carriers know that. They're logging your calls, they're logging your letters and emails that you need to keep track. Because the biggest problem that a lot of carriers are creating for the policyholders, you might have 10 different adjusters on a loss in 8 months. And so you can never really establish a relationship with one. So once you have the documentation, you've been working with these different people, and you make complaints about that with the insurance company and the Department of Financial Services, you might get some action.
Okay, that's good to know. And then taking pictures, because a lot of people don't realize when you take a picture with your iPhone or your smartphone, it documents the location, the time, everything. So if before a hurricane hits, you need to take pictures of all of your belongings.
Yeah, that's so important. I mean, a policyholder who has more photographs of what it looked like before and after and the damages is going to be able to make a better claim submission and potentially get it paid more timely. And I'm not talking just like take a photograph of what the room looks like, really get down on that crack, really get into that, in the water, in how deep it is on the floor, if the kitchen cabinets are wicking up the water, get good photos.
And one more thing that's really important to remember too is if you do have to make a claim, now by state law you have 1 year to make it versus 3. And when it comes to wind damage and things like that, you might not know the damage is even there until, several years. So you need to really know what's going on with your house after a severe weather incident.
Yeah, and that's a great question too, because I explain it like this. If you are close to the hurricane and you're within a certain area, you're going to see a lot of visual damage. But as the bands of wind move out and you're in one of those outer bands, you may not see the damage to your house until maybe a year later when the rainy season comes in and then you have water coming in. So now you're limited to 1 year from the date of loss to be able to submit a claim. 1 year.
So really know what's going on with your house. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate all this new knowledge.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely.